Hello, I'm Carl Brown. Welcome to Growing Pains, taking your business to the next level. Today we have two guests. Our first is Tisa Clark, President of J.D. Clark Professional Services and a participant in the Accelerator program offered by the Center for Minority Business Development at Prince George's Community College. The program is comprised of training and technical assistance and is offered to construction and construction-related minority-owned businesses in Prince George's County. We are focused primarily in the areas most required for minority businesses to successfully bid on and perform on construction and construction-related contracts. Welcome, Tisa, and thank you so much for being on Growing Pains.
Well, thank you for having me, Carl.
It's a pleasure. Our pleasure. So, tell us a little bit about J.D. Clark Professional Services.
Well, J.D. Clark Professional Services provides property preservation, maintenance, and improvements. Our motto is you build it, we'll maintain it. Our focus is primarily on distressed assets, so your properties that are owned by your financial institutions, properties that are owned by county municipalities that are in a distressed position.
Well, I noticed that Prince George's County government is tearing down properties now that are, I guess, beyond your ability to maintain them.
That's exactly right, and we actually just won a contract with the county, the Redevelopment Authority, where they're going in and improving those properties to sell them to low to moderate income families.
Oh, that's a wonderful thing. So let me find out from you, as a participant in the Accelerator program, how has that program benefited you?
Well, I would say it's twofold. It was a humbling experience because I was pretty much exposed in regards to all the different assets and facets of my business. But it was a very rewarding process because where we were exposed in areas that we needed improvement, the CMBD offered those services to us.
Specifically?
Specifically in the human resources area, as far as helping us grow and staff up as we needed to staff up, technical assistance relative to our strategic plan, relative to our marketing strategy, our rebranding, targeting who our customers were. It also helped us technically in the areas of estimating, bidding out jobs, and really formulating more structure around how we were operating in the field.
So would you say that this program was beneficial to your business?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I think without the program, I don't think I would have been as successful as I have been for the last couple of years.
So I'm glad to hear that, but more so that we constantly try to get companies to come into the program, and that's where the struggle has been.
I'm sure.
You know.
I'm sure. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of time that you have to make yourself available. But, you know, my philosophy is, you know, no gain, no reward. So you have to give up something in order to gain something. And all of those resources were absolutely free. So I was going to make myself available to take advantage of the opportunities that you had.
Well, and you did, and we obviously saw a lot of growth in not just the company, but you as an individual. And that was the goal of the program, is just not to grow the business, but also the owner of the business to have them transform from a doer or a technocrat to a actual manager that's delegating and supervising, and then calling the shots, if you will, and then having other folks do the actual work. We want to see that more. So let me ask you about, where do you see your company in 3 to 5 years?
Well, in 3 to 5 years, I in turn want to see the company branch more into the commercial space more so with the opportunities that we have here in the county that are coming up with the development that is moving forward. I also want to see us have a larger footprint in the federal government space. Our office was just redesigned as a hub zone, and so we're going to take advantage of that so that way we can begin to penetrate the federal market.
Wow. So how did you find out about this hub zone thing? Because it is hot. This is the new 8A, if you will,
Yes.
so hub zone.
Well, in turn last year, as we were taking strategic planning courses with CMBD, it gave me an opportunity to look at who were my customers and who I wanted to be our customers and what advantages that we needed to position ourselves for to meet those customers' needs. Initially, when I looked to see if we were hub zone, at that time we were not, but I persevered with census to find out that they were rezoning. And so I just stayed on it and kept monitoring, and this year we in turn meet that criteria. So I'm very excited about that.
And we are too, because we just want to see you grow and succeed and hire more folks. So let me ask you then, what has been some of your successes and what have been some of your challenges?
Well, I think the success has been we found a niche with the type of client we were going after. And so we have experienced, on average, 140% growth each year that we've been in business.
Wow.
That afforded us the opportunity to be awarded the Emerging Business of the Year last year with the Prince George's County Chamber of Commerce. Also, the Gazette, Politics and Business also acknowledged us last year as number 37 out of the 53 companies that were acknowledged in the state. So those things I would say would be our most notable accomplishments. From a challenging perspective, growing that rapidly, it doesn't give you an opportunity to really sit back and think about where you're going 3 to 5 years out. So I would say that one of the things as we're growing, we still need to take time to be strategic about where we're going. So we're not just spinning our wheels and not really making a progress toward our mission and our vision.
So let me ask you, how did you get into this business?
It's funny you asked that, Carl. I used to be a director at Freddie Mac, and being a director at Freddie Mac, it was very challenging, and we saw the foreclosures coming. And so I, in turn, said, wait a minute, there's going to be a need for the financial institution to manage these assets because they're in the financial business, not the property management business.
Right.
So my husband had the construction know-how. I had the business and finance know-how. So we married in business, so to speak. So we positioned ourselves to be that company to provide what they needed. And we understand that industry and we can serve their needs. So that's how we got into the business.
So while you're serving your customer, what has been some of the challenges in serving them?
I would say the response time. I think when you're dealing with financial institutions that are not, or even government agencies that are not in the business of owning properties, time is money. And so to be responsive to them is really what allows you to be successful with them. Being a one-stop shop, so leveraging partnerships, either self-performing or having relationships with other small businesses that allow you to perform, gives you that edge, if you will.
Okay, so when, say, Freddie Mac calls you, what's that whole process? Run us through that process.
Well, the process is when they give a call, it could be anything that they need, from securing that property all the way up to full-blown rehab and anything in between. So we have to be ready to service them. So that request will come in typically via email, and we in turn will look at that. We respond to all customers' requests to let them know that we have their requests, and we immediately begin scheduling whatever that their request is. Once we do that, we in turn perform the work, we stay in communication with our client, and then we close out that work and we invoice them to let them know that it's been done according to their standards.
Wonderful. So when you get to a property, what has been like one of the challenges or one of the, I would say, I've seen some foreclosed homes and they were in such disrepair that, you know, the value of the home had diminished because of what was done internally, holes in the walls, etc. So have you seen that? Or?
Oh, we have seen properties with 6 feet of water in the basement, frogs, frogs in turn just floating through. We've seen the worst of the worst. We've seen ones that were so immaculate that you could eat off the floor. So I think the challenge that we have is being equipped going to a property not knowing what we're going to see when we get there. And so ensuring that our guys are educated and they're trained and we have the right crew in place and we have the right equipment, so that way when we arrive on site we can service and make that property safe for the community and the neighbors relative.
So how's the transition been from working at a large company like Freddie Mac to being a small business owner?
Well, when I was in corporate, being an executive, I was used to having departments that handled different administrative functions. As a small business, you wear multiple hats. So that has been very, very different. So I'm HR, I'm head of administration, I'm quality control, quality assurance, and also have to put my steel toes on to go out in the field when necessary to ensure that the jobs are getting done. So that's been probably the most challenging, is that I don't have someone to say, go do that, send me that report. I'm doing it all.
Okay, so you don't have that handoff or delegation.
No, not yet. I hope to have that soon. As we continue to grow, we'll put that in place. But as a small business owner, you're wearing multiple hats. And even if that's not your expertise, you have to have enough knowledge relative to ensure that it's being done properly.
So Tisa, what pearls of wisdom can you drop on our audience about running and owning your own small business?
Well, I think the key thing, Carl, is that when someone makes a decision to start their own business, it needs to be something that they're very passionate about. It takes a lot of sacrifice to have a small business. You're sacrificing your family, extracurricular activities, and sometimes it can be rather daunting for some of the tasks that are required to have your own business. And so if it's something you're not passionate about, it'll be very challenging for you to be successful. So anything that you set to do, it has to be passion, because that way your customers can experience it, your employees will feel it, and you'll be successful at the end of the day.
Well, thank you for being on Growing
Thank you,
Pains.
Carl.
This is Carl Brown. Stay tuned for more Growing Pains when we return.
The program was originally started in 2009. I came here after being
Prince George's Community College isn't just a place that offers more than 200 academic, workforce development, and continuing education programs. It's the first step toward the career of your dreams. It's a community of people who want you to succeed. It's where degrees are earned and potential is realized. Apply and register today. Call 301-336-6000. Prince George's Community College, transforming lives.
Say with me, imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more.
So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child.
So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, have a good time. Living seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
To change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall.
One book can make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first little thing that helps to change a life.
People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't, because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
All right, listen, we all need a little nudge sometimes. I don't function without coffee in the morning, but it is gonna take more than a double mochaccino to help you here.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns. No quiero oír. Danny, no lo puedo hacer. Quiero oír. Danny, lo voy a hacer.
DMC, liking your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs, just keeping it real.
Louder, louder, I'm gonna get my GED. Come on, get your GED.
whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Welcome back to Growing Pains. Our second guest today is Brian Hamlin, Program Manager for the Diverse Male Student Initiatives, a male mentoring program at Prince George's Community College. Welcome, Brian.
How you doing, man? Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, I'm doing great.
All right.
Thanks for being on the show.
All right.
So why don't you tell us about the Diverse Male Student Initiatives program here at Prince George's Community College?
Outstanding. The program was originally started in 2009. I came here after being in the traditional education environment for about 14 years as a vice principal, classroom instructor, the whole shebang. And when I got here, it was kind of funny because two visions converged. I got tired of seeing men of color slipping through the cracks in our public school system. And the first person I talked to on campus was Dr. Dukes. And she felt the exact same way, except on the higher education level. And she started telling me about all the national statistics we had of primarily African-American, Latino males dropping out from college and the retention rates dropping. So she asked me a plain question. She said, Brian, how would you like to create an aggressive male mentoring program designed to help these young guys get in, get successful, and then move on to a 4-year?
Well, I can tell you, ever since I've been here, I've been a part of your program.
That's right.
Because
That's
I believe in it myself.
That's right.
But it's, you know, we know about it, but we got to translate that out to our audience.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about what the program participants expect and get as far as services from the program.
Outstanding. Now, one of the things that it was beautiful part about growing it is that I did not go and take a program that existed someplace else. Like any unique business, and I look at it as a business, is that you really want to make sure whatever you're designing matches the needs of the young men. So, Carl, in 2009, 2010, I began with small focus groups of pockets of influential guys throughout the campus, guys who were willing to come in and talk to me a little bit about what were their needs, what were their challenges. And from there, we began a very small workshop called the Gathering of Men Workshops. And we actually met at the conference room right next to your office.
Okay.
And that's where we started off, about 30 guys. And then from there, we just grew. So we have a staple of the program, which are the workshops. We hold them on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at our other site in University Town Center. And there's a curriculum that I designed from mission statement, purpose, vision, everything to get them excited about life, get them in tune with each other in terms of a brotherhood, get a posture with me. There's a quote that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So we work on very early with relationship building. So that program goes throughout the year. The guys also have expectations in terms of a contract to attend certain events on campus, attend other workshops, some job shadowing, some internships. We have a 3-pronged process. We help you academically achieve. We have tutors. We maximize the college in terms of academic resources. Part 2, career and business readiness. I tell my guys, I tell my audience as I speak across the country, that if all you have is a job, you're behind the 8 ball in this economy. So I teach my guys about being prepared as an entrepreneur. And then lastly, manhood. As you know, in our communities, people of color, we're losing our black males, our positive male role models. So I teach them in terms of leadership development and how to really transition from a young adolescent into a male. And we have a summer institute, we have panels, we have cultural trips. I mean, we do it all. I believe in a holistic approach to really covering these young men, and we seem to be doing a great thing in their lives.
Well, that's good, because I wanted to find out, what are some of your success stories?
Wow. I recently had a gentleman. He just was actually the Chronicle of Higher Education covered him. His name is Earl Wilson. And a little bit of background on Earl is that prior to coming to Prince George's, he had been incarcerated for a certain amount of time for a nonviolent crime. But anyone knows that that's a major trap for men of color, is that, if you do make some poor decisions and put yourself in that situation, it's kind of hard to dig yourself out later on. And after some encouragement from his family, he enrolled at the college. And I met him when he performed in For Black Boys, a stage play that was held in Queen Anne. And I saw his passion, I saw the raw potential, and through another DMSI member, I asked him to join the program. And since then, he's actually turned to his passion, which is journalism. He's about to produce or write his own novel, and I'm very excited about that. And he's very dedicated now, very disciplined, very mature. And the thing was, all I gave him was hope. that you don't have to stay who you are when there's greatness inside of you. And now he just graduated. He graduated the other day, and the Chronicle came out and interviewed him, and he was recently accepted at Bowie State University. The powerful part, though, Carl, he's one of many. We probably touched the lives of over 500 men since I started here, all from 30. So, you know, something seems to be doing, we're doing something right.
Exactly. So what do you expect from your graduates or program participants?
What I expect is to close just as well as you open. You know, a lot of us, even in the room today, we're very good at starting things. We're not good at closing. You know, we'll start something new every week, and we get excited about starting. A lot of folks get excited about starting at Prince George's. You get excited about starting a novel. You get excited about starting a workout plan. We don't close strong. I tell my guys, when you come in, I care about you. I care about you, and I don't even know. We're just meeting. But that's the way I was raised when I met, you know, my father's friends and my mother's friends. They embraced me as, we see the potential in you, we love you, we care about you. Once we start there, my thing is find the greatness in you, find your purpose, find your passion, and then work very hard. I say outwork the world. You know, don't let anyone outwork you to things you're supposed to be doing, and close there, focus there. And that's my expectation. Give me everything you have, and my staff at DMSI will do the exact same thing.
Wonderful. Now let's transition a little bit, because I know that you're a motivational speaker and we can see it right now.
Right.
So tell me, how did you get into that field and what is the passion behind that?
I think the passion comes from my parents. My mother's an educator of maybe about 25, 30 years, and she was the director of the Upward Bound program, for those of you that know about the Upward Bound program. And I got a chance to see her working. Changing lives. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know if any calling is higher than having an impact on someone's life. And then they're not the same anymore. They're better than when you met them. And I really saw my mom take people that society had discounted out, and now they were greater. And I think seeing that, I became an educator. And it was so funny, Carl. I think what started to happen, and everyone experienced it when you get into your zone. I don't care if it's you and doing the Center for Minority Business or the team here that's filming, and you start to get in that creative zone. And I started to see that the students seemed to be more receptive to me than other educators. Matter of fact, a funny story, I was teaching one day, and I started to see something in my peripheral across the hall. So I'm teaching, I'm in my zone, and what I saw were the kids in the other classroom scooting their desks back to hear my lesson across the hall. I knew something. I'm also a believer in confirmations, that when you're walking your path, you begin to hear things that tell you you're on the right path. People, you're good at this, you're good at that, and I began to listen to it. So what happened was I began to get people to ask me, hey, my son loves your class, would you speak at my church? My uncle knows someone at your school. We heard you're great. Can you come out to the Boys and Girls Club? So I followed the confirmations. And what started to happen is after the event was over, I've had people walk up in tears. I've had people walk up and hug me, perfect strangers, saying, you changed my life. And what I realized on top of that is every successful person that I've known is they leverage their talents in terms of pursuing business. So I was just not changing lives. I was also getting into a situation where I can make a business from doing that. And since then, I've traveled the country with my agent, booking mostly college engagements. And it's not only profitable, but I've just met some fantastic people, and I really think I'm having an impact out here.
So would you say to someone that's watching the show,
right,
to follow your passion or get a job?
I would say marry the two. You know, Russell Simmons talks about a labor of love, that you wake up, and this is a good part for me. I work here full-time as the creator and program manager of DMSI, but I also speak. And I wake up every day, and I can't wait to get to work because I love what I do. So get a career in what you love. Another piece I tell my guys is something I call white spaces. White spaces are places in any industry that have yet to be innovated. So this particular format, in terms of this platform that you're doing, that may be white space for the college. Once again, I tell every single person was born for a reason. Find that white space in whatever you love career-wise and make it happen, and focus all your time and talent on that.
So when you go out to some of these college campuses outside of ours,
right,
I'm a little jealous.
Don't be.
But what do you tell the folks? How do you motivate them? What do you say to them that impacts them?
Well, the first thing, I have two mantras. One is, in life there are no accidents. You know, there's over 8 billion people on this planet, and there's only one of you. And if that's the case, how could that be by chance? Does that make sense? And on top of it, every man, woman, and child was born for a reason. You know, you have some passions that I don't have. That's fine. It's called beautiful differences. So my thing is embrace who you are. That's the number one issue I see with specifically my audiences of color. They don't embrace who they are. We're always comparing ourselves. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm short, I'm tall, my hair is long, the consistency of my skin complexion, and we're not getting into the beautiful nature of who we are. We are specifically created for our passion. So I start there. I start with knowledge of self. After that, what do you love? What's your passion? What turns you on? I call it chasing fascination. And you know, you should be pursuing the things you enjoy, the things that get you excited. After that, get into the road work in terms of the skill set necessary to manifesting this passion. If you hear someone talking about their craft, everyone should refer to their passion as a craft because you work on it. You work on it. And when you become the best at what you love, sky's the limit.
So I'm motivated just watching you. I mean, you know, it's so important. And one of the things that Uncle of mine turned me on to was the power of positive thinking.
That's right. That's
you know,
right.
do you incorporate that into your motivations?
Positive thinking is one thing. I take it a step further is purpose thinking, passion. I mean, I truly believe one of my good friends, I recently got involved with a speaking professional network called the Marathon of Excellence, and a colleague of mine in there is a speaker. His name is G. Palmer, and he talks about that every single person is the answer to a prayer that someone had for them. So let's not just think of silver linings and sunny days. Let's really get into I was born for a reason. I was born to change something, to save a life, to impact a life. And when you think from that standpoint, you start to think community-based. You start to think more family-oriented, and your value. Think about someone when they feel good and they're confident, they know their value.
Exactly.
So that's what I just talk about, the value of who you are and how you can create and impact the world in the most amazing ways.
Well, Brian, our time is up, but it's been a pleasure. I'm motivated.
Okay.
I'm ready to run out.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for being on Grown Pains.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today. We will see you next time as we continue to help you take your business to the next level. To find out more information about the Center for Minority Business Development Accelerator Program, call us at 301-583-5205 or visit our website at www.cmbd.biz.